Hello YouTube friends, welcome to The Last Homely House. I'm Kate and today I've got a project that I think is a little bit interesting. It's not strictly speaking necessary. But recently my daughter-in-law Anna, for those of you who've been here for a while will know that she helps me here with the filming and the editing, and sometimes we do projects together. Well, one project recently we tidied out my wardrobe, which was a very, very long overdue thing to do. But Anna's very tidy-minded and she motivated me. And so now when I open my wardrobe, there are just clothes in there that I want to wear. And all the others have made it off to the charity shop, or in some cases, actually, the clothes recycling. That's how bad they were. So I have beautiful clothes that I love to wear now in my wardrobe. What do those clothes need? Beautiful coat hangers. And so I bought some plain wooden coat hangers like this, and using wadding scraps. Now, who hasn't got a big pile of wadding scraps like this? If you make quilts, you've got this, almost certainly. And so I decided I would make a few covered coat hangers for my favourite clothes. Okay then, so I've got my wadding scraps here, and I'm going to use Liberty fabric to do this. Any fabric will do. You could use, you could make patchwork stuff, you could do anything at all. But I really enjoy Liberty fabric. And I have quite a bit of it. So not only do I have my wadding scraps, I have my Liberty scraps as well here. And you don't need very much to make these coat hangers, these covered coat hangers. So I'm going to show you now how I made one of these, and then we're going to look at the ones that I have made and put them in my wardrobe upstairs. So for this size, it's very easy. This is not even a tutorial it's at all, because your coat hangers might be different shapes and sizes to mine. But this coat hanger being this size, I need a piece of fabric that is 20 inches by 4 inches. And a piece of wadding scraps. You could even join these if you didn't have a long enough piece. But the wadding scraps are 18 by 3. I've written this down in my notebook here. So I'm going to show you now how I did this. You almost don't need me to tell you. It's incredibly simple. But I'll talk you through each of the stages, and then we'll look at some of the coat hangers I've made. So here's my wadding scrap here on my coat hanger, and of course it's curved, but this will curve easily. It's fabric, it'll curve quite easily. So we need to make a hole for the hanger to go through, and the simplest way I found of doing that is just to fold this in half and then in half again, and just cut a tiny corner, and really tiny, because that's holes more than big enough for what I'm about to do. So pop that through there. And then this is where I like to use quite a lot of pins to secure this. This bit doesn't need to look pretty, so I'm going to fold this up and along and pin these in like so. And then when you get to the end, again, this bit's going to be on the inside, so it doesn't matter greatly what this looks like. If you think that's going to be too bulky, you can cut these bits out maybe. Let's try that. That might work, yeah, because otherwise that's going to be quite a bulky end. That works. That one's up there, that one's down there, and then just, again, stick a nice little pin in there. So we're going to do that all the way along, like that. And I feel a little bit like that children's television programme, Blue Peter. Here is one I did earlier. So I've pinned it all the way along, and the pins just stick into the wadding very beautifully. And then I just stitched it with a big whip stitch so that this is now beautifully stitched onto the coat hanger. So I've cut my Liberty strips here to the size I wanted. 20 inches by 4 for this coat hanger. Which one shall we choose? I do love these designs. They're so beautiful. Let's do that one. And again, we've got to find a place to put the hole in the middle, and we'll do exactly the same. If you're using Liberty, always be aware there's a front and a back. Always be aware you've got the right side facing outwards. So I'm just going to fold this in half, fold it in half this way, and then this time the hole needs to be really tiny, because you need hardly any hole at all for the hanger to slot through. There it is. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay then. I think I've seen these covered coat hangers before with buttonhole stitch around there. Now that would be really beautiful, wouldn't it? I'm not going to go to all those lengths of doing buttonhole stitch. That hole is just fine like it is there. Okay, here we go. So now again, it's just a lot of pinning, and the beautiful thing is that we've got this wadding to pin into. So where are my pins? There they are. When you're thinking about doing the ends, it's sort of a little bit hospital corners. So this first end here, I'm going to just poke that in and pin that in like that. And which way? Yes, that way. So I'm going to actually that a little bit further down. So as I said a minute ago, this is definitely not a tutorial. I just winged this, working it out how to do it. And you definitely can if you wanted to have a go at doing this. It's really the easiest thing in the world to have a go at doing. And what I would say is this is going to spend its life inside a wardrobe and inside a piece of clothing. So it's not really going to be seen. Your stitches don't have to be totally mega neat, do they? I mean, you can make them that way, but you don't have to do that. Okay, so I've done my fold there. I'm going to pin along. Let's get that bit in a bit more. Having said that, there, that's nice. And then I'm pulling this quite tightly so that it's not too loose, and fold this over like that. It's turning into a tutorial, isn't it? It isn't. Okay, so I'm going to do this other end before I finish pinning. Oh, wrong way. It's really great having the wadding in there because you can just stick as many pins as you like in and it just holds into the wadding a little bit like a pin cushion. There we go. Now, that's how it looks from the front now. And what I'm going to do now is stitch it invisibly along the back where the fold, I've made the fold. I like to use Aurifil thread in this grey colour because it disappears into the fabric. If I hold that against there, you can't even see it. And so I'll use this grey for absolutely everything. It's the colour, it's 50 weight thread, and the it's 2600 if you're interested in it. And I've stocked it in my little online shop because I use it all the time, and I thought that you might like to use it too. So there's 2 different sizes of bobbin in my online shop. And so my shop, if for people, my thread's just fallen in my tea. That's interesting. For people who've not been here before or perhaps don't know, I have a little online shop that my daughter-in-law Rita looks after, and she does all the planning and ordering and sorting out for that. And when we opened our shop on the new website, which I think looks so much better than the old one, we decided that we would stock quite a lot of the things that I use in the sewing room. So we have this Aurifil thread, we have the thimbles that I use, we have the scissors that I use in 2 different sizes, and quite a few other things as well. And so they're in there because I use them all the time, and I really enjoy the quality of these things. And so I thought perhaps you might like them too. So we'll leave a link to the shop in the description below. We always do that. And if you wanted to go and have a look at some of the things that that Rita and I have curated for you. This is the latest one, my 6.5-inch ruler, which is an absolutely invaluable thing. I love it. So I'm going to sit here now and stitch these. This is where you need a good audio book or something good on the telly, and just stitch your way through half a dozen of these. It's a very, very simple project. I've seen them knitted as well. They look really good. I might actually make a few knitted ones. Okay, I'll see you back here when I've done this. Is finished. I like it, but I think I'm going to need quite a lot more, so I'm going to make another one. And that's nice, isn't it? Yes, it is. So we'll choose that one and we'll go again exactly the same as before. Like I say, sometimes it's hard to tell which is the front and the back with Liberty. I think I'm going to nominate that to be the front. Okay, so we'll calculate the middle and make the smallest hole here tiny. And then I have prepared the 4 more of these, great, ready to go, so I can just crack on and do 4 of these. Now, which side was the right side again? I think if it doesn't matter that much, I'll just go for it. Yeah, because how many coat hangers do you need in your wardrobe? I mean, they don't all have to be these lovely covered ones. Oh, this would make a great gift, wouldn't it? A pack of these, 6 of these as a gift. I think that's a lovely idea. Okay then, so I'll move my finished ones out of the way. And it's a nice day today. This would be a nice job to do sitting outside on the bench. Maybe I'll go and do that. Okay, so it has been the rainiest of summers here, but now later in the summer it's just decided to start giving us some nice weather. And if any of you watch the garden channel, you might have seen Ant and I getting the front garden here ready with the swings for my grandkids when they visit. And just a few days ago, Martha, my daughter, came with her whole family, and we had just such a lovely time playing in the new play area outside. Prior to that, it was a weedy old mess, and it was really quite difficult to get out there and play. But now I think I've become the local playground now. Anyway, Agnes had a lovely time. She can swing all by herself, And what we discovered about Emil's little seat is that when you put him in there, he's perfectly safe. He's not wandering around the garden getting into mischief. So it's almost like a moving high chair for him. Now, it's been really nice to have that little addition to the garden. And now I just want some gorgeous summer weather so that they can all come and enjoy it. Okay, so the pinning of these is quite straightforward. Hang on, oh, that one's a bit too long. I must just trim that one down a little. There we go. So just tuck these ends in. Is it now I decide that that's the inside? No, it's fine. Don't worry. Don't change it now, Kate. We need this one in first. Okay, that's little bit. It's a bit hospital corners, this bit here. Just get those bits in. And it's just a little bit fiddly. That's why it's really helpful to be able to stick these pins in like that. I guess proper sewers amongst you, you might make the seam on the bottom. And another thing that's just occurred to me, if you wanted to make these on the sewing machine, you could make two tubes and pop two tubes in here and stitch them up round here so that there wouldn't be any of this hand sewing. That thought has just occurred to me. I might try to do one of those, because then the only hand stitching you would have to do would be round the hook. We'll try that maybe. You see, so this is a little bit dangerous because these pins get stuck in you. So if you're doing this, make sure your pins are embedded in the wadding so that it's not like trying to sew a porcupine. That's a bit better. I've had some serious injuries. Not serious, come on, Kate. I've had some slight injuries putting this this project together. I'm making some terrible stitches here. That bit's going to be inside the clothes. Don't worry about that bit. This has been a quick project, and the thing about it as well is how great it is. I can just stop whenever I want to. When I've got 3, 10, 58, I can just stop whenever I want to. But some projects take a lot longer. You know, obviously quilts, when you start making that, you know, you've got to carry on and finish it. And I've got a project on the board at the moment, and I will show it to you because it's been on the board for maybe a couple of weeks. And why am I not getting on with it? I'm really excited to start with it. Keep sewing, Kate, keep sewing. Because I think the finish of it's going to be lovely. It's not my idea. There is nothing new under the sun. People have been covering coat hangers ever since there were coat hangers. And this thing that's on the board now that you're seeing right now, it's all solids for one, which is not usually something I do. I love pattern like this beautiful Liberty here. But I saw this quilt, and I've been since I've been looking at these quilts on Pinterest and on Instagram, I really fell in love with the whole idea of making something a bit like I've been seeing. And so I've cut all the fabrics, they're all there ready to go, but I haven't made a start. Why haven't I made a start? There's kind of like a lot of planning going on in my head. And isn't that what the design board's so brilliant for? So the design board there, I can pin everything up, step back, have a look at it, rearrange things, and it's just there, sort of almost like inspiration, but it's almost like it's nagging me, this project, saying, come on, Kate, get on, we want to be sewn together. And so, with that one, once I start doing it, I won't be able to put that one down. I'll just keep going and going with that one. But I've been hesitating because it's not settled into my head yet how I want to do it. I might be making a bit of a a mountain out of a molehill here, because I think once I start, it'll come together really quickly. This is a quilt that I want to keep for me. I've had a place for it in my head where I want to put it. And once I get started with it, like I say, I think it'll just go like tumbling down a mountain. It'll just go like dominoes. But I actually have to get started with it, and I haven't yet. I think that's what these projects, these small projects, are all about, is, what's the word? Avoidance. Avoidance tactics. Prevarication. But then I also like to have a lot of things on the go at the same time. So that's also what this is about. Oh, got myself into a muddle there. How on earth did I do that? I went into the fabric and I came out in exactly the same place. I mean, what were the chances of that? Rare. So I'm going to make these covered coat hangers until I build up the courage to take those things off the board and start sewing those together. And I will definitely bring you along for the ride for that one, without a doubt, because I think that one's going to be really interesting. I had a lot of that fabric already. I'll be talking about that when we do make that video, because Anna's here helping me do the filming today. Anna's my daughter-in-law, she who helped clean out the wardrobe. And what she's going to do as soon as I've stopped sewing, she's going to take some images of these lovely coat hangers all laid out beautifully for our Pinterest board. Now this summer Anna spent some time making a new Pinterest board, which we'll link to in the description below, because there's some boards there that's all about liberty, all about English paper piecing, about the cabin, all sorts of things. And so the pictures on there, Anna's got a real great aesthetic about her, about taking really beautiful photographs. So anytime you see photographs here at the Last Homely House, like on the calendar or on any of the products that I make, Anna's taken the pictures. And I really value that about her, because she'll take some beautiful, they're just coat hangers, but she'll take some amazing photographs, which will now be sitting over on Pinterest for you to enjoy. I like Pinterest. I've said this before, you know, you go onto Pinterest and you say, I'll just spend 10 minutes on Pinterest, and 3 hours later you're still there. But it is where I get a lot of my inspiration. I get inspired, like this quilt that's on the board over here. I get inspired to do all sorts. Too much sometimes. I made a list the other day of all the unfinished projects that are lying around, and it was embarrassingly long. But the thing about it is, they're all things I really want to do. I'm really excited by all of them. And that's what the beauty of that is that whatever mood I'm in, I can pick up this knitting or pick up this hand stitching, or sew on this project here. Once I get started with that, it'll be fine. It just isn't fine at the moment. So I'll finish this coat hanger, and then we'll go upstairs and put them on the clothes in the wardrobe. Well, there's 8. I've got to make all of these now. I think they look so good. Have you been inspired to make some? I hope so. I had an idea. Wouldn't it be cool to make a little lavender bag? Like some nice lacy material, or a bit more of this Liberty, and hang that on there. Keep the clothes sweet smelling. Okay, I know what I'm doing for the rest of the day. I'm going to be stitching some more coat hangers. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're inspired to try some of these little projects that I get involved with doing, and give us a thumbs up and a subscribe, and pop over to Patreon, where there's always more content if you want that, going back right down to the beginning of 2019, and pop over to the shop for those things that I mentioned earlier. It's so nice to see you here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye now.